2023? Leading researchers predicted that by 2025, AI would replace up to 80% of software developers. It sounded like a death sentence for an entire industry. But quietly and almost unnoticed, that prediction failed. It's now 2026, and the very same companies that were laying off developers are now scrambling to hire them again. 152,000 layoffs in the tech industry in 2024, $40 billion invested in generative AI, and yet 95% of pilot projects produced $0 in measurable profit. How is that possible? Today at Gelvix, we want to break down how the plan to replace developers with artificial intelligence failed, and how that idea turned into one of the biggest technological illusions of the decade. The idea was simple. Machines write all the code, companies cut costs, profits grow. Google CEO Sundar Pichai confirmed in 2024 that more than 25% of new code at Google is already generated by AI. But the numbers tell a different story. MIT recently published a report called The Gen AI Divide. Despite $40 billion in investment, 95% of enterprise pilot projects produced no measurable results. Most organizations report a net zero effect on profits. The first failure is something now known as vibe coding. At first glance, it seems simple. A developer describes a task in natural language, and AI vibes a solution into existence. In demos, it looks like magic. But in real projects, the picture is very different. Stanford's Digital Economy Lab found that AI-generated code is simpler, more repetitive, and structurally unsafe. It lacks the connective tissue, the architectural logic that makes a system reliable. And what does that create? Technical debt on a massive scale. KIS Software analyzed 10 billion lines of code and concluded that eliminating the world's current technical debt would require 61 billion working days. The reason is something called the slop layer. This is code that technically works, but no one really understands how, and no one can fix it when it breaks. AI simply clones similar blocks instead of building elegant, reusable logic. The amount of code cloning has increased fourfold. Trying to save money today, companies essentially took out a loan with insane interest rates. And the repayment date is getting closer. The 2025 VeraCode report showed that 45% of AI-generated code contains critical vulnerabilities from the OWASP top 10 list. In Java projects, the failure rate exceeded 72%. But the most surprising result is this. Experienced engineers actually became 19% slower after adopting AI tools. Why? Because they turned into AI babysitters. On average, engineers spend about 11 hours a week fixing hallucinations, code that looks syntactically correct but contains logical landmines. CodeRabbit calculated that AI-generated pull requests contain an average of 10.8 issues compared to 6.4 in human-written code. We are not accelerating, we are accumulating debt. And then there was the Builder AI scandal. A startup valued at $1.5 billion promised a fully autonomous AI development platform. But a court investigation revealed that 700 real engineers in India were manually doing the work that was sold as artificial intelligence. When the money ran out, the AI died. Or take the anti-gravity incident. A Google AI tool was instructed to clear cache files, misread a flag, and recursively deleted the root directory. 2 terabytes of production data were gone in seconds. An apology does not bring back months of work. The third failure is the most long-term one. People. Companies decided that AI could handle junior-level tasks. The result, hiring for entry-level roles dropped by 50% between 2023 and 2025. Stanford found that employment in AI-dependent roles significantly decreased for younger specialists, while increasing for workers over 35. This creates a junior death spiral. If companies stop hiring juniors today, there will be no senior engineers in 5 years. The training ground disappeared. Previously, junior developers learned by writing boilerplate code. Now AI generates that boilerplate, and juniors are thrown directly into complex architecture without the fundamentals. The labor market is also shifting. According to Reuters and IT Jobs Watch data for 2026, median salaries in software roles in the US and the UK fell about 9% year over year. The market is flooded with developers after waves of layoffs. Management is taking advantage of this. The typical argument during salary negotiations is, AI now does 40% of the work, so we can't justify 2022 level salaries. It's a bluff, but it works. According to Hayes, salary growth in tech barely keeps up with inflation. We are entering an era of a low hiring, low firing market. Companies are simply waiting for talent to become desperate. So here's the reality of 2026. AI didn't replace developers. It replaced the illusion that software development is a simple, easily automated task. And here at Gelvix, we see a key shift. The companies that are actually benefiting from AI are not trying to replace people. They use AI as a tool, but continue investing in strong engineers and system architects. Free AI-generated code may look attractive, but very often it becomes the most expensive technical debt a company can take on. If this video gave you a useful perspective, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.